Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. I've been busy working on the base offline. Let's take these biter bases out. Biter nests. I always call them bases. Biters don't have bases, they just have nests. A base is a more advanced, abstract concept. I ran out of stone in the main base, so I put in a stone train and built a mine over here. We can subsequently use the same mine for coal if and when we need it, and rare raw metals, and raw immersite since they're all conveniently placed. I'm also harvesting mineral water like I said I would. Haven't used any yet, but the train is full and it's all sitting there. I decided to try using the ducts that are part of the what is the fluid must flow mod. So it's pretty cool. You can feed up to 6 regular pipes into this intake duct, which acts kind of like a pump, and then it goes through the underground duct. Each duct segment holds, let's see, 800s in the undergrounds and 400s in the regular, 400 in the regular segments. And then at the end, you put an outtake duct, which is just like this one, but in the opposite direction. And you can connect 6 pipes to that one as well. In this case, I only have 4, and then I have those go to these tanks. So it's a good way to move lots of fluids. I'm not sure why that one's not full. Interesting. Anyway. So we got plenty of mineral water. I had a, while I was working, I had a major power problem. The whole base shut down. And what had happened, you may remember when I built my refinery, I set it up so that I would prioritize the production of petroleum and then use whatever was left to make solid fuel. Well, with the expanding that I've been doing into these additional science packs, you know, I'm using more and more sulfuric acid and things like that, petroleum gas, more red circuits, which means more plastic, right? You get the idea. So I was essentially using all the petroleum that I was making, actually running short of petroleum. And so I wasn't making any solid fuel for quite a while. And when the solid fuel runs out, then my boilers stop making steam. I stop making biomethanol, and my power plant shuts down. And then I use up all the energy in the batteries, and I'm completely dead. So I had to get some steam power set up again to recover from that. I'm fully recovered now. I've got a full tank of biomethanol and everything's hunky-dory, but I had to disconnect power from most of the base just to isolate this part of it so that I could get the steam power going, have that power this section so it could start. I found some solid fuel elsewhere in the base and brought it over to manually feed the boilers. And anyway, I got everything going again, but it wasn't pleasant. What else? Uranium processing. I think we saw last time that, or maybe we didn't see last time. What did I show you last time? Oh yeah, we saw for the science packs that I was going to need a lot more centrifuges for the uranium-238, so we got that set up. And then I ran calculations for fusion power, because I'm going to skip right over the nuclear reactors and go directly for fusion. But since this processing's been running, I've accumulated some uranium-235. I've got Covarex enrichment running on 4 machines. So I'm making a lot of uranium right now. In fact, we can see, let's take a look here. Yeah, I'm making about 6.2 per minute is what I've got, which will be more than enough to power the entire base for quite some time. So when I had that solid fuel problem, I changed the original refinery. So I have this now so that I'm making solid fuel all the time. And then when the solid fuel depot is full, then I'll collect more petroleum. Right? So solid fuel will always be made no matter what the petroleum situation is. And then to compensate for not having enough petroleum, I set up a second refinery over here. Now this refinery only makes petroleum. I'm not making lubricant or fuel or solid fuel or anything. So this one will be kind of focused towards making solid fuel and other useful byproducts. And this one will be focused just on only making petroleum. So all the heavy oil gets cracked, all the light oil gets cracked. And the only output here is petroleum. And I have room for another one of these too if I need it later. So everything seems to be stable, but we are still getting pretty close to our power limit. So I want to jump into fusion. And so I've set up down here the beginnings of the fusion setup. It's just up here actually, so let's go check it out. All right, so we've got the fusion reactor. The fusion reactor takes in a DT, which is the deuterium tritium fuel cell, and 500 water, or 1,000 water. And then over the course of 5 seconds, it makes 10,000 steam and an empty fuel cell. Okay, so we're turning 1,000 water into 10,000 steam at 975 degrees. The nice thing about this is there's no heat exchanger. You just feed it water and the fuel cells and you get steam as the output. And then that feeds these advanced steam turbines. I have 3 of them right now, but one reactor can drive up to 20 of these things. And you can see some of that in the Krastorio 2 wiki, right? It discusses that. Where did I see that I could run 20? Oh yeah, here in the tooltip. One reactor can support 20 large turbines. It requires 500 megawatts of energy, which is what you get from one of those DT fuel cells. No, it's not. Or maybe it is. 500 megawatts of energy. 500 megajoules per second. 500 megajoules per second. That would be 20 seconds on one of these things. Yeah, see, it says 5 seconds crafting time, so I'm thinking that that means that it makes the 10K steam after 5 seconds, which would mean that one fuel cell gets used in 5 seconds if you use up all the steam. I don't know. We're going to have to see how it works. Okay, so you put in a full fuel cell and some water, and then you get the steam, and then you get the empty fuel cell out, and then you can recharge the empty fuel cell. So to make a fuel cell, you need the empty one plus 1 piece of tritium and 10 units of heavy water. Okay, and that can be done in a chemical plant. All right, so I've got the uranium, I've got the fusion, and I've got 3 of these turbines. Now these will put out 100 megawatts each. at maximum steam. So with just 3 of these to start with, that'll be enough to power the entire base. In fact, that's about double of the power generation that I have right now. So this will be a nice upgrade even with such a small setup. Okay, so I planned out in Factorio Planner, I planned out the production of the fuel cells. So my estimate for 300 megawatts, based on the consumption rate of the steam, okay, these consume 100 steam per second. So 10,000 steam divided by 300 per second is, I forget the number, but let me check. I think it's like 33 seconds. 10,000 divided by 300. Yeah, it's 33 1/3 second. Okay, so based on that, I would need 1 fuel cell every 33 seconds, which works out to like 1.8 per second. Or I'm sorry, 1.8 per minute. Okay, so I plugged that in. 1 chemical plant making the fuel cells. To make the tritium, we need lithium, uranium-235, and rare metals. Okay, we already have 2 of those 3 things. What I don't have is the lithium. To make the lithium, you need an electrolysis plant, water, and lithium chloride. Okay, the lithium chloride takes mineral water, which I'm collecting in the train. It takes hydrogen chloride, 21.5 per minute. The hydrogen chloride takes hydrogen and chlorine, of course, 21.5 a minute. Incidentally, I get 21.6 per minute chlorine from producing the lithium. So that chlorine is recovered when we make the lithium. It releases the chlorine from the lithium chloride at the same rate as it's required. So once we get this process started, we won't have to add any more chlorine. And to facilitate that, I just barreled some chlorine gas so that we can use that to get the process started. Okay, and then the hydrogen we can get from the atmosphere with an atmospheric condenser. So that'll be a nice clean process. It won't require any additional chlorine. The hydrogen we'll take from the air, and the mineral water we're going to be getting from the train. Okay, and then the heavy water we make in an electrolysis plant. That's where the deuterium comes from. And that just takes water as an ingredient. So 450 water in gives us 18 heavy water out per minute. So that's the production chain. So my thinking was that we make all that down here, and then we send, or not all of it. I think we send, I don't know. I am going to be using uranium for other stuff. I want to make uranium ammo, but let's see for the 235. That's used for tritium. It's used for uranium fuel cells, enrichment. We would need it for atomic bombs, nuclear shells. Okay, so maybe I'll just export the uranium and then make the DT fuel cells up here. This doesn't give me much room for expansion. But I could, for example, I could get up to 600 megawatts, or I could even stack these in a different way. I should be able to get quite a lot. I don't know if I'll be able to get 20 turbines, but if I use pipes and pumps and stuff for the steam, I can probably get 20 turbines on here, and that'll give me 2 gigawatts from a single reactor. Of course, I'll have to be making the fuel cells rather quickly, and I can always relocate these batteries. I mean, these can really go anywhere. So I'll export the uranium and then I'll make the fuel cells up there. I think that seems like a good plan. Okay, so let's add another one of these. We'll put that one there, and we're going to filter this for uranium-235. All right, anything that comes in here I can take out. I don't, because this is all self-sufficient now. Right, it outputs the uranium here, and then it takes back in what it needs for the next cycle. So anything that gets past these inserters is free to exit and be used elsewhere. And that'll just continue running. Right, because remember I said we're making like 6.5 per minute, and here we only need 0.3 per minute for the 300 megawatts. So that's why I say we have far more than what we need. Okay, so let's put the chemical plant right here. And this is where we'll make the fuel cell. Okay, and then fuel cell will feed in. The empty one will feed out and then back in. So that's why I only made 10 empty ones, because I think that'll be enough to keep it in circulation. Let's get our power pole set up here. Okay, and into that we feed the heavy water. For the heavy water, I need 2 electrolysis plants. So we could set those up. Triggered. These bums. Okay. And again, the only ingredient we need there is water. Let's put another tile in the middle. That way it'll be symmetrical and it gives us a good place to put a power pole. Okay, and water I happen to have right here. All right, and this makes 20 every 120 seconds. So with 2 of these, I'm getting 20 every 20 a minute. Is that enough? Yeah, I need 18 a minute. Okay, I guess it is enough. All right. So now we just need the tritium. Yeah, I don't think we need to buffer it. 1 tritium. Okay, so how do we make the tritium? We need 1 centrifuge, which I have available. Can I put it? Yeah, let's just put it right here. We'll use a long inserter. Okay, and that requires 3 ingredients. Okay, so let's get whoops, that's the wrong type. We need the requester depots. Okay. So let's get our Sorry, what do I need? Alright, I need to bring in uranium and rare metals. Okay, so those can go on a single belt. I think just a single drone is going to be fine in both of these cases. Rare metals, I can never find them. There they are. Okay, 5 rare metals every 30 seconds. No problem. And 1 uranium. Okay, and then the last thing we need is the lithium. That's going to take 30 in 30 seconds. Yeah, so again, a regular yellow insert will be fast enough. Okay. Lithium is going to come from a single electrolysis plant. So let's revise this. I will put the electrolysis plant right here. Lithium. And into that we need water and lithium chloride. There's the water. Okay. Lithium chloride comes from a single chemical plant, which we'll put right there. Five every 25 seconds. Okay. Yellow inserter time. Alright, and then we need the mineral water and the hydrogen chloride. I think I'm going to rotate this. Alright, so the mineral water we are going to bring in by train. This is going to be for copper because, by the way, I'm almost out of copper. Sorry to have a copper station. I guess we can bring the water in here. Alright, so I'm going to copy this blueprint. Get rid of anything not train related. Need to craft a station. And I guess bots are going to bring in that stuff from the other side of the map. Okay, let's make... Now one train is going to bring in 100,000. So I could either make 4 large storage tanks. I think we do, yeah, I think we do 4 large storage tanks. That'll unload faster because I can have a pump coming out of each wagon if I do it that way. But I need to get some steel. There's some steel. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've got pumps, and I've got pipes. And that was close to iron processing. There we go. I love these teleporters. Okay, and this is going to be mineral water unload. is the train to the tank times 4. And another pump on the output side. And how much mineral water do I need? 107 per minute. So I think outputting that into a fluid depot and using the wagons will be preferable to piping it up there, since it's such a small quantity. I'm out of iron plate. Okay, let's go grab some iron plate. Oh, speaking of iron plate, I did double up on my iron processing because I was running out of iron plate. So this is the same setup basically as the copper processing, it's just in a different orientation because I have all this other stuff there. But I've got the same quantity being processed, which is four times what I had before. Yeah, I used to have 1 yellow belt. Now I've got, well, maybe it's 3 times. I don't know. It's a lot more. Let's just leave it at that. And it's helping. Yeah. I'm starting to collect some plates. It's not enough to run this. Well, maybe it is enough to run the smelter full speed. I guess it is. Okay, and what was that for? Oh yeah, the fluid depot. That's what it was for. But I'm not going to be able to put the depot on top of the ore here, I don't think. All right. I'll put it over here then. Could I get away without the pump? Probably. I probably could. But you guys know how I play. I like to put pumps everywhere to make sure I'm getting the most flow as I can get. Okay, and that'll be a pretty easy train route. Fill up here, empty out there. Let's just wait, make sure the train gets here and unloads okay. While we're waiting, more stone, we can check off the list. Okay. See how fast that unloads? When you pump directly from a wagon into a tank with no pipe segments in between, it unloads very quickly. And same on the loading side. That's why I like to pump into a tank and then from a tank into the train. It goes very fast. If you have any pipe segments in between the tank and the pump, it slows down the flow rate considerably by having to go through the pipe. Okay. What was this for? I guess this is for the heavy water, yeah? Or for the mineral water. Okay, we'll give that, I think just 1, again, should be enough. Yeah. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to need is the hydrogen chloride. Okay. So for the hydrogen chloride, I just need a single chemical plant and a single condenser. Where are my FNEI chem plants. There we go. Whoops. Okay, yeah. So I want this. Yeah, I need this chlorine pipe to come out so I can recycle the chlorine. Okay. Hydrogen chloride. And of course the chlorine is on the wrong side. Okay, so that's how the chlorine is going to loop back. That's how the gas is going to feed in. I'm going to put that there. And then I need an atmosphere condenser to extract hydrogen. Okay, and then I just have to prime it with the initial bit of chlorine. So I'll set this to empty chlorine barrel, put it right there. That was just one machine, right? Yep. Okay, let's fire it up. And then we're done with that. Okay, there's the hydrogen chloride. There's the lithium chloride. Here comes the electrolysis into solid lithium. That'll feed chlorine back in. One hopes. Okay, that's waiting for more hydrogen. Now we've got 5 lithium. We just have to wait for that to go 6 more times. Okay. Yeah. More hydrogen. More chlorine. And then we should get our first piece of deuterium. Oh, let's hook up some power poles here. This is very exciting. Okay, it's waiting for more chlorine now. Still waiting for more chlorine. Wait a minute. That's only giving me 10 chlorine. $49.9. Ah, okay, here we go. We're making tritium. 5 of them. I might need to add more chlorine to this process. We'll see. And there's our first fuel cell. Oh yeah. Here we go. Lots of steam. Okay. All right, now the steam's full. And we're making 235 megawatts. Okay, we're recharging batteries. Let's see what happens after that. There we go. And then it drops back down. And then this will hopefully wait a while before it uses up another fuel cell. Okay, so let's... This is not right. This 21.5 business. Well, maybe it is right. That's what we need per minute, right? So the actual recipe is 50-50. Okay, so I get 50 hydrogen chloride. 50 hydrogen chloride gives me 25 lithium chloride. 25 lithium chloride gives me 50 chlorine. Okay, yeah, so it's 1-to-1. I get all the chlorine out that I need to keep it running. And this will just run until, I guess, as long as I have empty fuel cells available. It'll continue to make more, but it shouldn't exceed, you know, I'll never have more than 10 loaded up. Okay. Fabulous. So now let's tell this to turn off, except when I really, really need it. Okay. So there's several ways we can power this down. We can power off the pump. I think that's the way to go. We turn off the pump that's sending the biomethanol to the generators when the accumulators are sufficiently charged. So let's make some circuit wires. I'm going to connect that pump. Will it reach? No. There. So now we have a signal of A coming from the accumulators, and the A tells us what percentage of charge they are presently holding. Charge was depleting, I assume, because turrets were firing. Okay, and then it drops back down. Okay, and we're going to tell this pump to turn on when A is less than 25, let's say. Okay, so if the accumulator charge drops below 25%, then we'll start sending this fuel over there. And we can do something similar for this steam power. In the case of the steam power, we will do that by turning off the supply of water. Just coming up here, this is kind of kind of convoluted. Let's see. So let's run another signal. Okay. Can I fit a pump there? Okay. All right, and then we can pump it up like that. That's no good, is it? Okay. This is really convoluted, but it'll work. All right, so this one will turn on when A is less than 10%. Okay, so if the accumulator charge drops below 25%, then the gas power will come on. And if it continues to drop and it goes below 10%, then the steam power will come on. Right, and the reason that I control this by controlling the flow of fuel in this case, or the flow of water in this case, rather than using the electrical switch. There is an electrical switch available, which is, where is it? Here it is. There's a power switch that you can make, and you can turn the power switch on and off based on whatever circuit conditions you want. The reason I don't like that is because it's instant. And so what happens a lot of the time is, you know, let's say, in this case, let's say that I turn the power switch on and off that connects the power from the steam generators to the rest of the system. It drops below 10%, it flicks it on, it quickly goes above 10%, it flicks it off, and you end up with this rapidly oscillating power situation. Whereas if you just turn on the water, it kind of smoothly ramps up, and then when the pump shuts off again, it kind of smoothly ramps down as the water is used up. Okay, so now they don't have any water, so they're turned off. So now if we look, we can see that my advanced turbines are the only thing providing power. I'm getting 137 megawatts, which is almost as much as all of this can provide. And we're only, whoa, what's this? Oh, okay. Yeah, so now we're making 300 megawatts, plus we're pulling some charge out of the batteries. There we go. We stopped pulling charge. It didn't drop below 25, so the reactors were more than enough. I think I'm going to add another one of those big turbines. That'll give us 400. I mean, I might as well. I have the steam. Let's see what my fuel usage would be in that case. So it was... Okay. 10 gigajoules divided by 400, divided by 400 megawatts, 25 seconds. So we need one every 25 seconds, 60 divided by 25. That would need 2.4 fuel cells per minute. That means I would need another machine. I would need another machine making lithium and a third machine making heavy water. Okay, so I'm not going to do it right now. I'll leave it the way it is now because this is just kind of something to get me started and to see how this production chain works. When I need more power, then I'm going to come over here and set up a better area to make the fuel cells that can accommodate, let's say all 20. So we'll be using a lot more machines. This is not really planned out at all except for how many machines do what. Let's make sure we're still doing good. Yeah. Yeah, we're doing good. Okay, and let's look at our... Let me reset that. Let's look at our production versus consumption of uranium. Okay, so I'm making 6 per minute, consuming 0.4 per minute. This says 4, that says 0.4. Oh, okay. That's because this number is how many I've made in 10 minutes, and that's how many it is per minute. This number divided by 10. Now it makes sense. Okay, so pretty much all the uranium that I'm making is coming out of here. I have to be careful that this doesn't fill up. I could put a warehouse in line with that. Would it fit between these belts? No, of course not. That would be too neat. What if I... Excuse me. There we go. Now it would. Alright, so let me make a warehouse. Warehouse is 6, so... Oh, well, I already have a warehouse. Yeah, never mind. I don't need another warehouse. This is fine. If this fills up, it'll start to back up over here. Right, so this iron ore is not going to get used very much. Because this iron ore is much closer. I could change that to a buffer. And then it'll pull in iron ore from elsewhere, maybe. Let's try that. I haven't tried using the buffer depot. But it seems like this would be one of those times that you would want to use it. And it's not going to let me do a direct replacement, unfortunately. Those iron chests are smaller than I remember. Okay, so what if I replace that with a buffer depot? For iron. And then if I give that some wagons, then they should go out and pick up iron from around the map, as well as accept other inputs. And then I assume that requests for iron ore will come from the buffer depot first, and then the regular supply depots. Otherwise, that would defeat the purpose of the buffer depot. Okay. Now what happens if I do this? Oh, crud. I would have to put these in one stack at a time. There's no way I'm doing that. Okay, so let's do this and see what happens. Okay. So the trucks are taking it over here, but this stuff is not allowed to go in. That's not cool. Okay, so... Oh yeah. So let's do this. Let's put the supply depot here. Okay, and then I'm going to put the buffer depot here. Okay. So now the buffer depot... Alright, so the buffer depot only requests from providers and allows other trucks to pick up from it. It can't accept anything from a belt, which is kind of a pain. But, I mean, you also can't feed anything from a belt into these, as far as I know. Yeah, the ore's still sitting there. So I guess it's consistent. Yeah, and then it's just bringing a truck from right here. So this does absolutely nothing. I have to say that that is a real pain. I really would like to be able to make sure that I'm pulling in from multiple sources, but there doesn't seem to be any way to force it to do that. It'll just always take from the closest, which is going to be this, and as long as this has iron available, any other source of iron ore is going to get ignored. Unless you do something with circuits. Or I could belt straight across. I could forget about this supply depot. No, see, I still need a supply depot because I need iron ore to make concrete. Over here. Well, maybe that's where the other iron ore gets used, but I'm not using that much concrete. This is where it would be good to be able to set priorities. Like if I could set this supply depot to a lower priority than all the other sources of iron ore, then I can make sure that everything else, that they get emptied first, and this one. Same with the stone. You know, I'm making a lot of stone up here as well, and I need to do the same thing. Well, I don't know. Maybe it does get pulled. It's only got 650 in there. Okay. Well, anyway, I don't want to. I don't want to bore you while I sit here thinking about this forever. Anyway, the good news is we got fusion power. That should last us for a while, I think. Let's go check it out again. Watch it working. It's our first real high-tech facility. Yep, making lots and lots of steam. And then you don't really need to control the use of the fuel cells because it won't take in another fuel cell until the steam level drops below a certain amount. I don't know what that amount is. I saw that there was 50 in the output, so maybe it's got to drop below 40 before it'll take in another one. We'll just watch it here for a second and see what happens. The other thing we can do is let's set a stack size of 1 so that it only puts in one at a time. So that we don't overshoot the threshold too much. You know, the other thing that we could do is we could output the steam into a tank and then control this inserter based on the contents of the tank. But if we can avoid it, I'd rather do it the simple way. So let's just watch this for a minute and see at what point we get another fuel cell inserted. Yeah, it's probably going to insert multiple because since it has a 5-second crafting time, once it gets below the threshold where it wants to make more steam, it'll take fuel cells for 5 more seconds before the steam output is full. And that's probably how we get up to 50,000. So maybe we do need a steam tank. I mean, as long as it's not getting wasted. I don't know if there's like 49,000 in there and we run another cycle. If I only get 1,000 steam instead of 10,000, that would be kind of wasteful. But let's just watch what happens and then we can decide if we need better control over this or not. I think it should only insert 2. Oh, okay. Yeah, the one it's using plus 2 more. 36. Okay, yeah, as long as the output's not getting clipped. 44. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. As long as we're not clipping it. And that's enough to keep up with the accumulators and stuff, so. Nice. And then the fuel consumption slows down again. Okay. Well, I'm satisfied with this for now. This will serve us well for a while. All right, so now I need to get more copper. I'm going to put that on the top of the list. I need a copper mine before I run out, which is nearly happening. I think we'll just get it from here since I've already got the rail and I'm doing the mining. I do have some pollution control here. I'm honestly surprised I haven't gotten any attacks over here. I guess the pollution is stronger than... I'd like to take this out with artillery, but I'm afraid if I do that, then all the biters are going to come and attack. And we got a little happy face over here. Look at that. Hey, fella. All right. Let's take these guys out. Eyes, nose, mouth. And let's see what they do. We'll strike the biters themselves first, so. And they move away that way. I'm not sure why they do that. Okay. Well, let's take out this one too, see what happens. And then I'll strike there and try to take the biters out. Hopefully they won't go anywhere. Dang it. You guys are so lucky. Okay, well they're not going towards the mine. That's good. Looks like they're coming down here towards my wall. Right, let's take that out. Let's take this out. That. This is going to put a big drain on my power, getting all these attacks at once. Let's see if I can lead these guys a little bit. Come on. Too slow. Didn't I already shoot that one? I guess not. Son of a gun. They won't stand still. Well, the wall's still doing fine. We're only at 83% evolution. So they can still get tougher. I think when you get to 90% or 90, or is it 85? I don't know. When you get to a certain percentage, then the biters will, you'll start to get behemoth biters. Okay. Yeah, we're doing fine with 300. But I'll expand this as soon as we have a little bit of extra time. You know what? I think I will add another turbine. No, I won't. You know, I was just thinking that if I add another turbine, this naturally controls your fuel consumption. So it's not like the vanilla reactors where your fuel consumption only depends on how many reactors you have. Because the steam is built into the reactor itself, you're only going to use fuel when you need more steam. So it's kind of like having a steam buffering set up on a vanilla reactor, which is a real pain to set up. And I never do, just because it's kind of a pain and uranium is cheap. But I was just thinking that I could put another turbine on here just to give us more peak capacity, trusting that even though it'll be able to outstrip our fuel production capability, it'll only do it periodically and should not result in us completely running out of fuel and the reactor shutting down. That would be very bad. Okay, so let me get a few electric engines and I'll make one more turbine. Even though I don't quite have the fuel production to run it 100%. I don't really want this running at 100% anyway. I wonder why those were all at 88%. Instead of 100. maybe these turbines can't, maybe you just can't put 20 of them in line like this and have the steam flow through at the maximum rate. I might need to take the steam out in steel pipes or something. I mean, still, I'm only looking at 400 a second. It's not like that's only about a third of what one of these offshore pumps can do. So I would be surprised if it couldn't handle that much at least. There. That's better. Okay. That's it. See you guys later. Have a good day.